if you're already basically creating a customized monster, I don't really know what the purpose of trying to go by the rules as written or the mechanics as written. I don't see how that makes sense. You know, you're already doing custom work on the character. I was trawling through Reddit, which is a scary place to be, and I was actually interested in seeing if anyone had some really weird questions, and
those are my favorite questions, because I don't know what to expect.
Exactly, and you know, that's really interesting because so many of the weird questions that I came across were actually just really regular questions, but I think people thought that they were weird. However, I came across one that's very old. We're talking like 7 years ago, but it really did get me to thinking, because there's been several edits on this since, that maybe we overthink things too much. So I'm going to read this, and I'm going to read the 2 edits that came out of it. I just want you to kind of get a general idea when I'm reading this about what this person is trying to achieve with the mechanics that are around Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. The title of this is Weird Question, I Need Less HP? I've been brainstorming this and can't come up with anything. I need 4 less hit points. The character is an outsider that takes full HP per HD and doesn't have a con score. He's 4 HP over 666. And I can't think of anything that lowers HP and not con score. Edit. It's not a PC. I'm not doing some insane bullshit with rule-breaking insanity. It's a theoretical NPC monster that's very high up in levels. That should clear up the confusion a little bit. In hindsight, I shouldn't have mentioned the HP total at all. I thought it was funny. Edit 2. Alright, so some clarification. The insane HP and no con score being weird is me completely reading its sheet wrong. It has D12s and a con modifier of 12. I know it's insane, but this is a monster trying to hit 666, and after noticing there was a clerical error on the sheet, we were able to figure out how to fix it. It had 40 extra hit points from some place I couldn't find, and by dropping those, it went to 606, and we just traded 2 feats for epic toughness. It's at 666 now. Woo! So, to clarify, for the TLDR out there, this long thing that they were trying to achieve is so that they could make a theoretical monster 4 hit points weaker than they previously were. The thing I think is, why not just put the hit points at 666 and call it good?
First of all, no one's going to question you if you fudge the monster's hit points 4 less. You go, oh yeah, I rolled it all out and it just so happened to do it. It doesn't matter. Like, okay. I thought this was going to go in a completely different direction. But, alright then, let's have your demon at 666.
What did you think
I thought this was going to be a question. I thought it was going to be about how things in D&D have just way too much hit points.
Oh, yeah, no, because I got the idea that this is really just a high-level monster that theoretically they were never even supposed to, attack. Like, it wasn't really about that. Because some people in the comments were basically like, just give it 666 hit points. OP responded that this monstrosity would never, ever, ever see play at my table.
Then why even build it?
Well, it's apparently a friend's monster, not theirs. I've replied to other comments saying this, but it's more a joke build than anything from my understanding and not meant to see gameplay. If it's a joke build, then you've really overthought this entirely. Way too much. I guess what this really got me thinking about is, what point do we really find that we're vastly overthinking the numbers?
I think at that point you're vastly overthinking the numbers.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I think I would have gotten there before we got to the edits. I think, like, the very first part where it's like, he's 4 hit points over 666, and I can't think of anything that lowers hit point and not con score. I would have immediately been like, the number is now 666, or realistically, even if it's 670, he got 4 hit points worth of damage. So he's a 666.
Yeah. He's got a scratch on his arm.
He's got a scar across his face. And now that was 4 hit points of damage, so he's at 666. And when you meet him, he's there. That's how we work it. It's just,
and even if he did have 666 hit points, what are the players going to do in character if they ever came up against it? Look at it and go, "Oh God, he's got 666 hit points." Like, are the players going to know this, or is it just a kind of ha 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 joke to myself?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as I say, it didn't really even matter because it's supposed to be just an insane number with a character that has way too many hit points. I don't usually assume, and I don't think I've ever had a time where the players knew the hit point total of the monster anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe in, like, a video game, but not in tabletop. That's usually just GM facing. Not
right.
something that the players have to deal with. So, I don't know. I thought to myself, having seen this and reading it over and over, I kept thinking to myself, boy, sometimes we really do get lost in the sauce here, don't we? Like, we get really wrapped up in the mechanics of it too much, where it just becomes like an exercise in a Sisyphean task to roll a boulder up a hill for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, see, if I was going to introduce a monster like this to be ridiculous and have 666 hit points, first of all, I probably would actually do it as just a funny thing, and I would let the players know at the table. It'd be like, by the way, this guy's got 666 hit points, and kind of talk him up to make him seem really big. But it also probably has something in there that makes him take quadruple damage from every source of damage.
Yeah.
That way they'll go, "Oh shit, I don't know if we can take this," and they'll hit him and they'll be like, "All right, mark it down." And like, a hit of 6 would then be like 24.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd go down so fast.
Yeah.
He doesn't have 666 at that point.
Sure.
He's got, hold on, let me do that quick math. Quick.
Back of the napkin math.
166.
Sure.
Math. No, calculator on my phone math.
Oh, got it.
Who needs napkins? So it's much better at that point where he's got 166 hit points instead. It's still a lot of hit points, but like not nearly the daunting task.
The thing that really kind of made me hit my head against the table is when OP had basically said, from my understanding, it's not meant to see gameplay. Because it's at that point where I just, like, don't even worry about the hit point. If it's never even going to be, unless you have players that are just so obstinate that they think they are going to take on essentially a god character that you've built as joke, I don't see what the purpose is. If it's just that you really like the idea of building a monster that has 666 hit points, it's just all right.
Some people are really into that theory crafting. I guess. And I get it. Sometimes it's fun to be like, "Oh, I thought of this really cool build or this really cool idea, or what if this?" But I don't think that putting that much thought into something that's never going to get used is worth it.
Yeah, and not even if it's like a theoretical monster, but if you're already basically creating a customized monster, I don't really know what the purpose of trying to go by the rules as written or the mechanics as written. I don't see how that makes sense. You're already doing custom work on the character, so
just make it a variant of the monster that it's based on.
Right, and it has four less hit points. I think this is just one of those cases where it was such a minutia of, like, I need to create a character that has 4 less hit points, and I was like, why? Just like, why did we have to go through this exercise?
Just for fun,
I guess
apparently.
This doesn't seem fun to me at all.
How many comments did this person get?
19.
At least they didn't get 19,000.
No, they did not get 19,000. This is
I'm sure the majority of people that looked at this went, what?
Oh, here's a good comment, though. Just punch yourself for up to 4 damage every day.
Yeah.
It works. But no, most people were just like, just make the number 666. It's fine.
Yeah.
No one cares. And realistically, that would be my advice, too. I think it's fun to work with the mechanics of a game, and, TTRPGs have a tendency to be kind of mechanics. Like, if you really get into it, there's a lot of mechanics you can play around with, but sometimes you just don't have to do all of that work. It's more than you really... Yeah, exactly.
That's like when you spelt the ball bearings and
then we had to figure out what happened with all of them.
And then use your whatever spell to force push them.
Oh, it was Thunder Wave.
Oh, yeah.
Thunder Wave.
Which moved all the ball bearings at pretty high velocity and shotgunned. Yep.
Because they were considered to be, loose objects, basically. Like, that were under a certain weight class. So yeah, my 1,000 ball bearings that I ended up putting on the floor and then shockwaved, and they were on the... Yeah, they went all over the place. But we didn't have to calculate, like, the damage of every single one of those that were going forward. I don't think they even really hurt the enemies so much in the thing, but they did blow out the windows.
The enemies were still alive.
Oh, yeah, no. Especially after that.
I think the Thunder Wave killed them.
I think the Thunder Wave did kill them, but we did kind of explain that the ball bearings would indeed move, and they would blown out the windows, and they blew apart the poor house. That poor farmer. I'm so sorry about your house.
What happened here? I don't know. The orcs must have did it.
Wasn't that the resolution? We saved the farmer, and the farmer came up and was like, what the hell happened to my house?
No, I should have had the farmer been like, you saved my house, you saved my life, but you destroyed my house. You gotta pay me reparations.
Here, let me just get out my ball bearings.
Should be like, sorry about the house, here's a gold piece, that'll fix everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, the barred bearing shotgun, as I like to think of it. I'm kind of curious, for a question to leave with everybody, if you have ever had, like, a really, if you've really had a complex sort of mechanical quandary that you've tried to work out in one of these games, how much minutia did you have to think of in order to get to an answer that should probably just be a custom
How much
number?
Is too much?
How much is too much? Do you really want to calculate the damage of every single one of those ball bearings? We didn't.
Yes.
Well, okay, maybe we did.